Hi everyone, welcome back to Play On. My name is Candace Barrett.
I'm Rob Mackay.
And Piercy is off sick today, so sad news. We're just going to be a little pair today, Rob.
Little tate-a-tate. I hope Piercy's got a note for his teacher. Yeah, get well soon, mate. I'll take the blame for that. I've been out your way and you needed rain. I brought it. So
Yeah.
I'm guessing you're not used to that wet stuff. So sorry about that.
Yeah, you were everywhere out in the countryside.
I've been everywhere, man. Yes, that's been my week. On the road. On the road again.
Anyway, I want to ask about anything that you've done the past weekend in terms of refereeing that you want to bring up. You did the mod thing, wasn't that right? There is a mod event that happened on Wednesday, so that's some match official developers. So think of it as a referee coach.
Yeah, so this is a bit of an annual tradition. The University of Sydney has a University College rugby tournament called the Rawson Cup, and it can be a little bit hit and miss in terms of standard, but we had the final last night, and the final had a lot of the Australian under-20 players who'd just come back from the TRC tournament in South Africa.
Oh, awesome. So good.
It was a cracking game of footy, and the way it works is we put team of three on the match, then someone is the match official developer for the team of three, then we as match official developers review the match official developer reviewing the referees. So there's lots of acronyms. It's a real mouthful, but it's basically the coach.
So there's how many of you guys?
There was about 20 of us.
Listening in. So yeah, 20 people listening in. Wow.
Yeah. So we're all on the same channel. We're all sitting in the grandstand with their earphones in. Although, having said that, it was really nice because it gets a big crowd because all the college kids come out of the colleges.
This is true.
Sit there. They might have a quiet shandy or two as well. So they get into it big time. And it was a seesawing match.
Yeah.
The team that ultimately won didn't take the lead until well into the second half.
So interesting. Love when the games just drives naturally and it flows.
Yeah, it was really good footy. And it had a bit of everything. We had penalty tries, we had yellow cards, we had some scrum fun, we had some good free-flowing footy. Try saying that quickly. Some kick chase, some really good skills, some intermittent game management. I would imagine a couple of coaches were going, why did you do that then? But at other times, and the classic for me was with about 7 minutes to go, the team that ultimately won was leading by 5, and they had penalty option pretty much in front, and they took that and went out to an 8-point lead, and that was enough.
And that was it.
Yeah. We then went into one of the rooms in the grandstand, and the referees unpacked their game, and then we unpacked how they left the room, and then the match official developer who led that was then reviewed by us. So it was a very collegiate, funnily enough, night, both on the field and off the field. So, yeah, great for everyone.
Yeah, that's great news.
What about you, Candace?
Well, I had an appointment and I need to grab my little refereeing journal, which, by the way, is from Keith Lewis. So, yeah, rugbyreferee.net. Well done, Keith. This is a fantastic book. I look at it as like preparation and reviewing myself, and it's very clear and very organized, which is what I love about it.
Nice
so
work.
this is helping me to remember what I did. Where did I go last week? I went to Melwood Oval at a Colts game, 2nd Division, the Robinson Cup. Anyway, long story short, for some reason, the green team just loved running into me. No matter where I positioned myself, I tried every which other way in the book in terms of positioning. In my first 2 minutes, they freaking ran straight into me.
I have seen that stack.
I got knocked over, and I was just like fetal position, just because then there was 3 other guys hitting over me. Anyway, I got up straight away, and I was just like, I feel pumped. I was like, I haven't been I felt like instantly I was like, I want to start playing again. Right. Because I haven't had that feeling in a while of someone just hitting me at full force. That was quite funny to review myself after the match.
What happened next? Did you play on, or did you have to stop play?
Oh, I stopped play because everyone else stopped because they were concerned about me. And then I was like, you know what, let's just do a scrum to whoever had possession.
Well done.
Yeah. So believe it or not, I'm going to be making sure I'm positioned correctly in my next match. More, and just be more aware of it.
And it's interesting too, isn't it? Because we know players like to run through the referee channel because it's a great way to it's a legal obstruction, if you like, because the referee's got to stand somewhere.
Yeah.
And particularly close to the line on a pick and drive, or just generally
Well,
around the
this was like
breakdown.
in the middle of the pitch. Like
Yeah,
so someone kicked the ball, the other team got it, and so like everyone was trying to like rearrange itself.
right.
And then there was
Okay,
like one phase I was giving advantage, and then anyway,
whack.
just there you go.
I
But
reckon that's clip of the week. I reckon you should put that in clip of the week, Candace.
I'd rather keep it on my own socials. I feel like it's too like I don't want to like show like what not to do.
Oh, it was brilliant. I did see it. I did laugh. I was okay when she bounced back up. When you went down, I thought, ooh.
Ooh. But yeah, everyone, positioning, whether it's around tackle or maul, still something I'm adapting on, making sure this time I don't get nailed,
Yeah.
basically.
And work on your fast feet, a bit of footwork, a bit of shuffle, a bit of shimmy.
I did boxing for almost a year, and I found the footwork stuff has really helped me with refereeing because you're constantly having to move around and
Yeah.
defending and moving around to
Just
not get
don't whack them. They
in
don't
the
like
way.
that.
Yeah, just not left. Yeah. I want to bring up, you just highlighted to us this morning that fresh off the press, there's some breaking news about the 20-minute red card. Is that?
Yes. Breaking news. World Rugby Council has moved the 20-minute red card to a global law trial.
Ooh, so that's going to be in our Super Rugby?
So this is in elite competitions.
Okay.
Right. So all elite competitions, including Women's Rugby World Cup in England this year.
Stop.
Yeah.
Here we go.
And the Under-20 Championship, which is coming up. So this is the final step before it becomes a full law, so they'll review it after a period of time and go, right, do we go full law on this or not?
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. And this is after having been in several competitions, closed competitions. And also, we've been using it in Super for a long time. So it's not new to us, that's for sure. Whether or not it filters down to the community game, probably not, because you essentially need a teamo to make it work. That might be something that we look at perhaps at our shoot shield level. We might then throw a teamo at it. We might not. But it does also mean you still have a full red card for acts of thuggery. So
yeah, that's so true. Because what I was thinking of was, which is what I wanted to bring up later, was that stomping by that USA player. So I feel like that would be one where it would be ruled out.
Yep.
Yeah.
So any foul play considered deliberate or highly dangerous, that's still
thuggery.
That's still an option for a full straight red, bang, you're gone.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
No one's coming back on there. 2 yellows.
Like stuff that's like reckless and like cynical sort of thing, or just purely thuggery. So identify that?
Yeah, the thuggery, if you like, is the one that will get the permanent red card. So, foul play that's deliberate and highly dangerous. That's the wording used.
Yeah, okay.
2 yellow cards will lead to a 20-minute red.
Very interesting.
Unless the second one meets the threshold for a full red card. But
then you would just give a red.
I'm assuming.
Oh, if they gave a yellow and it's in a bunker review sort of situation. Oh, okay.
Now, I reckon that's going to confuse a few people because it won't happen that much, but the one time it does happen, and everyone will be scratching their head a little bit. So just need to be on top of that. They've also approved a closed trial of a centralised disciplinary process, allowing for quicker and more consistent decision-making. So that means
is that like when a club raises something after a match, or is that like...
No, I think what that means is that we talked about this a little while ago because of the apparent inconsistencies in disciplinary sanctions. They'll centralise it and have, I think, more common people. So
there's not too many different opinions through different groups.
Correct.
Okay.
So here are the automatic, if you get, let's say, dangerous tackle. Dangerous tackle is the most common one, and the most common sanction is 632, entry level 6 weeks, half to 3 weeks for various measures, and then an extra week off if you go to tackle school. So I think they'll change how that works a little bit. Okay, you've done a dangerous tackle, whack. That's what it is. And if you want to appeal it, that's on you. Yeah. But if you get the appeal wrong, you're likely to go higher. So that's just my read on that. That will start from the 1st of August. So in the men's game.
Yeah, because the other one you mentioned for the red card would be also affecting the World Cup.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So that's just come out a couple of hours ago. I think we'll hear a bit more about that in due course. It's an evolution of the game. So the 20-minute red didn't quite get up in time for previous tournaments, but it looks like it's here. So we'll see that in... My gut feeling is the Lions Tour doesn't have 20-minute reds, but the TRC will. But it had them
I see
anyway.
what you mean.
So
yeah.
It'll unwind over the next 12 months, and then we'll have that consistency where everyone has the same thing, which will be great.
Yeah. Love to see how this develops because I'm still on the fence about it personally, how I feel about them. So would love to see more of this to make an actual opinion about it. But obviously, World Rugby love it. So I'd love to see it continue.
Look, I like it because we've seen it trialled and we've had really good outcomes, and we still have the opportunity to give out a straight red. So we just have a better opportunity now, particularly something like 2 yellows. That player's gone anyway. They can't come back. So you lose a player off your bench essentially.
Yeah.
And then after 20 minutes, someone comes back on. Yeah, I think it's a good outcome.
Well, I'm still going to make my opinion.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
I'll see how I feel.
I feel
like I come from a player point of view sometimes with how I feel about it. Oh, I want to bring up the World Rugby player welfare.
Yes.
There's some laws regarding what covers the tackle height, World Rugby updates about the mouth guards that have that special triggering thing with it.
Yep.
And the player load, which I'm not really sure about. Firstly, I didn't realize is this like a seminar that people could have attended at the end of April?
Yes.
And I'm just realizing this now.
Yeah, and this is one we've had on our list for a little while that we keep pushing forward because we run out of time.
That's why I was just like,
yeah. So they do this regularly, and this is
Is that like through an email update? Because I feel like that would be quite interesting. I didn't realize it's something that the public can be aware of.
It's for general release, so people understand what's happening behind the scenes in the game. It's a round table, and you got all the various stakeholders in there, and they cover off the various different areas. So you've got tackle height, and they talk about community trials, case studies, where to from here, updates on heat, skin friction, injury surveillance, brain health services. The tackle height includes the mouth guard, so that's led by a bloke called Ross Tucker. The instrumental mouth guard, there's been a lot of tech that goes into that, and we've talked about that and seen that operating. And
yeah, you can see the referees wearing. So they get that signal. And
correct.
Alert.
And they get it quicker because in the early days there was a bit of a delay, so they're trying to mitigate the delay so that there's not that consternation when a player gets hooked. They go, I haven't touched the ball in 10 minutes. Why am I getting hooked? So they're refining that because they've got the 2 measures in the mouth guard of force. One's, I'm going to say, lateral.
G-force? There's a G-force.
No, it's not a G-force. It's I think it's just force, but one's lateral and one's rotational.
Oh,
and this
it's just like the physics going on right now.
Yeah. So there's a threshold for each, and the numbers are different for the male and female game because of the physics involved in average mass, etc.
Which is good because then at least the data, they're looking at it, they're analyzing the data, they're getting as much as they can and reviewing it separately. Because there's a tendency where all stats and physical athletic stuff is all previously done by like male studies. So it's really good that the females get their own because it's actually more common to get concussions just because you're a female. So it's good that they're doing ours separately, which is good to hear.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's about head acceleration. So that's a function of body shape. So it measures those forces, and that's why it's the lateral and then the rotational. It's pretty interesting.
So interesting. So cool.
Yeah,
do they pre-record it? Is that something? Are you aware of that?
I don't think it's a publicly available session.
Got it. So you just have to be there at the right time.
No, it's invitation only to go, my understanding. But they will release over time some of the findings.
Outcomes, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. And player load's part of that. You might remember a year or two ago.
Yeah, what is player load?
It's about, well, I'm going to simplify it down to the effort from the player in training, but also the contact time in total.
Oh, okay.
So they're trying to mitigate injury by minimising player load, by minimising the collisions. There's a couple of schools of thought, yes, that minimises injury, but the opposing school of thought is, well, we're trying to harden the players up.
Trying to get their muscles and body ready for
Correct.
a match day. Yeah.
Correct.
And what does that look like?
You need a certain amount of physical training to get used to the impact.
And also like how to fall correctly, where to land, and how to train your body to do that. Yeah.
So where's the sweet spot? And if the sweet spot isn't a common point, then how do we manage on a per athlete basis? Because some people might be more prone to injury. For example, some people have looser joints than others, and therefore they're prone to knee, shoulder, ankle, wrist issues, and other people aren't. So how do we manage the load of those players? Because you don't want to set a universal protocol necessarily when each player has a different requirement. So it's quite a challenging area, but I think it's fascinating. And what
it
I
is
love
fascinating. Yeah.
And what I love about it is the focus on it, because we're trying to help people.
Well, it's also like the safety around the game. I think there's lots of things about having and growing the game, and people finding rugby a bit too rough and tough, which it is as a contact sport, but also they're doing stuff to make sure they're preparing players for the match correctly to like mitigate as many.
Well, it's more than a contact sport. Basketball is a contact sport. This is a collision sport, and that's next level. So because of the collisions, we're actively running into other humans. So the corollary to that is you're going to get an injury. So how do we minimise the risk, even though there is obviously risk? And how do we look after the player welfare in terms of recovery and preventing it where we don't need to do it? So it's it's complicated.
Yeah, it is. It's complicated. So good. So that's all on World Rugby if anyone wants to read on it, basically, under the welfare and laws sort of player update. Very interesting.
Now, I did watch some Super Rugby last weekend, Candace.
Oh, nice.
I was at the Waratahs game, which was a strange experience. I think the Waratahs thought kickoff was 8 o'clock, not 7:30. So they won the last 50 minutes, but they were AWOL for the first 20 or 30. So that was very disappointing. And then I watched some of the other games too. I saw Moana and Auckland.
Pasifika, and the Blues. And that was refereed by Gus.
That was Gussie. He had that one, and he had Coops, friend of the pod, on the flag.
Well, I feel like it was a quite intense match considering like the final 10 minutes, because they were very close.
Oh, absolutely. Hugely intense match.
Yeah, and Gus having to manage the captains, because you could tell, they kept on coming up for decisions. He would just be like, nope, just walking away. Wrong time.
Yeah, it was a strong team. So you had Coops, Ben O'Keefe, Glenn Newman in the box. So, it was always going to be, and we talked about this last week, Moana against Auckland in Auckland. So it is the ultimate local derby. I can't think of a bigger derby game in terms of geographical proximity in Super, because, in Australia, the nearest derby game for the Waratahs is Canberra. It's 300 kilometres away. In New Zealand, prior to Moana, it was the Blues and the Chiefs. Now we've got Moana playing in Auckland. It's a one-city derby. It's the only one we've got. So it's building quite nicely into being... so do I. I think it's great. Big brother, little brother, however you want to characterise it, new kid, old kid. And, of course, Moana got up with their talismanic leader, Artie Savea, who is so far ahead of everyone else in the Super Rugby Player of the Year stats that they've already awarded it to him with 2 rounds to go.
Amazing. Yeah. He's so fun to watch.
And he's taken the team to the next level. And it's interesting, some of the matches they've lost this year have been when he hasn't been playing. And they're a completely different team. I think it was the Brumbies game. He didn't play that game. And Moana just looked like they did last year.
Sometimes it's nice having like a forward pack leader who you're listening to, following along, and like having that direction. So if you don't have someone who's similar, then it could be quite difficult.
Yeah, and he's a follow me sort of guy. He speaks, he walks it, and he talks it, and I think he's in the form of his life, and Moana's been the making of him. He's playing with his brother. Not the making of him, he was already made. That's not what I mean, but it's highlighted just how good he is.
No, I completely agree. You mentioned about the attacking phases. Is there things that like you notice in particular that would have been, I guess, from a match official point of view, was managed well?
Yeah, so we had some fun in this one because there was a situation where Moana had possession and their players put their foot on the line while still in possession, but it hasn't been called. So play on, and we go through a number of phases, and then there's a turnover. The other team gets the ball, then Moana win it back and score a try. And the try got called back because the foot had been on the line. So then there was a heated debate about, well, what actually happened there? Yeah, okay, no, he's clearly out. Right, so we're wiping the try because it's out. But then there's, well, hang on, the TMO protocol in the case of touch can only go back to the last attacking phase. Well, what's the last attacking phase? So then you've got to go to the definition of attacking phase. And I'll see if I can pull that up.
Oh, it's actually written in law what an attacking phase is?
It's in the TMO protocol. So,
okay.
Yeah, attacking
they're
passage of play. And the passage of play since the last restart, if there has been no turnover in possession, or the passage of play since the last turnover in possession has taken place.
Oh, so then the other team, yeah.
So we had a turnover in possession.
Yeah.
So therefore that nullifies the out, essentially. It's play on. So arguably the try should have stood.
Oh, okay.
Now, in the end, it didn't impact the result per se because Moana still won. But there's that debate.
If they did lose, then yeah, you would have been a different situation.
And the problem we've got, I think, is the TMO protocol is quite complex because we've got different levels of rewind depending on whether it's foul play, knock on, throw forward, touch line out, offside, maul obstruction, tackle complete. So there's 3 levels. There's 2 phases for offside, maul obstruction, tackle complete. There's attacking phase for line out, forward pass, I think it is, knock on, yep. And then foul plays since the last restart of play. So
it sounds complex.
It is complex, and every now and then it causes a bit of confusion. So,
and that was one of those situations, which is fair enough. Like the captains have every right to be very much asking, and no,
well,
I'd be very confused if there was what I felt should have been a try.
Well, it was interesting because the match officials were talking about it, but the captains were also standing there throwing their little hand grenades in as well, which isn't ideal. You clear them away and sort out your own decision and then bring the captains in. And they were adding stuff that was further confusing the matter. And of course,
okay.
Artie was one of the captains and he'd been involved in it in the World Cup final in 23. Wayne Barnes went outside the protocol to get the right result. And as a result, the protocols changed. So there's lots of layers on this one. I'm sure we'll hear a little bit more about it.
He's getting flashbacks from...
Yes. Yes, Ashley.
He's like, no, it's come back.
Not again. Not again.
Oh, bless. That's so interesting.
Yeah, it was fascinating to watch.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to bring up, there was, of course, Australia versus the US, the match for the Pacific 4. That was refereed by Amy Barrett-Theron. There was a situation where we had a US player just driving through, but there was an Australian player tackling, and that US player got one leg free and like purposely was like jamming and stomping their leg on top of the head of that Australian player. So Amy Barrett stopped it straight away, the game, and reviewed it and found it reckless and cynical and gave them, she said, like a permanent red card. That's how she described it on the field. So this USA player is banned for 3 matches.
I think she's very lucky to only be banned for 3. And if we apply the pub test and the chitter chatter, I think most people are very surprised that it's not a lot higher.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
And I can understand that because it looked really bad.
Yeah, it did. I was trying to think of, like, again, it goes back to what we mentioned at the beginning about red cards, and like you said, the 6-3-2 sort of thing, but that was dealt with tackling. But this is, again, a thuggery, reckless act. So it's very interesting how this is a good example of, I'm like, what panel looked at that and was like 3 matches ban. they went through the process and that's it. But at the same time, I think it goes back to how they want to make it more centralized.
Correct.
As well, so that there's no dropping of days or matches.
Kudos to her defence counsel. They've argued a very strong case, clearly, because they managed to convince everyone that it was an accidental stomping. I'm not quite sure how you do that.
I would love to sit into one of these at some point.
Yeah.
I don't come from a law background, but in terms of being a lawyer or anything, but I do enjoy policies and regulations for my type of work that I do. But
yes.
anyway.
So my takeaway from that was, apart from the fact the defence counsel was very good, was, watching the match, she was on the edge the whole match. She'd been sanctioned several times earlier in the match for edgy play. That, for me, as a match official, is a red flag, not a red card. So in a game, you see a player on the edge like that, and
even after push and shove, like
that's right.
When
that's
it
right.
happened. So
sometimes players just come on the field and they're going to explode. So the challenge is, how do you prevent that from happening? You can manage the player in real time. It's like, hey, 12, pull your head in. That last tackle was right on the edge. If you get that wrong again, it's going to be an issue. Drop your height for me.
Yeah. Do you or even would you just go straight to the captain? Is it like offsetting that as well? There's two ways.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly right. Spot on, Candace. And that's where I was going. So you do the player on the run, and or have a word to the captain at the next stoppage and play, hey, listen, we keep an eye on 12, and they're just being an idiot. If they keep doing that, I'm going to deal with it. Fix it, please.
Yeah. It's like on the run sort of like escalation chats.
And then inevitably one or two things will happen. They'll pull their head in and we have a good game, or they won't, in which case you go, look, I warned you, whack, and then they're well and truly on the radar, and then just off you go. And hopefully before they do something really bad. And funnily enough,
that's something you can set a tone with, I guess, in your pre-game captain chat sort of thing. Or if you see a theme running through a player, then try to nip it in the butt.
you don't really know till they get on the field, unless there's a player with history. But it's one of those things you see on the day, because it's not always the same player. It's just someone, they've had a bad night, or they just don't like someone on the opposition, or something's fired them up and they're out to be on the edge deliberately or subconsciously. I mean, we saw that a couple of weeks ago when we were team at 3. We had a guy come on who'd been in my game, and in my game,
yes, this is true. Yeah,
he'd been on the edge. And so as soon as he came on, I was watching him. The irony was he did himself a mischief, and ended up being blue carded. And it was, as we said at the time, that was actually a blessing, because he was going to do something stupid and hurt someone. And in the end, ultimately, it was himself who he hurt. And that probably wasn't a bad outcome in the overall scheme of things. So
this is true. I just want to say how great Kat Roach was, and the team, which was AR also by Ella Goldsmith and Jess Ling, from my memory. And that was New Zealand versus Canada. It was the final result. If anyone hasn't seen, is it's a draw, basically. And it's quite funny. You could see after, when the final whistle went, they had players videotaped after. They're like, what happens now? they were so confused. Like, nope, nothing happens. It's just a draw. But I feel like it's a really good setup to what's going to happen in the World Cup, and well deserved by the number 2 in the world and number 3 in the world to have a draw. And I really enjoyed how the team worked. I felt as though it was really free flowing. Like, they allowed the turnovers, they allowed the game to really flow well, because it was hard. Bless them. Yeah,
cracking game, and really strong team of 3, and plus Timo's Alec Kelter. So, 3 of the 4 match officials there come across the Tasman for that one. So, well done.
How about we move on to some appointments? So I'm going to highlight some of the Pacific 4 appointments. So we have on May 23rd, which is on Friday, we have Australia versus Canada. This is at Suncorp, so in Brisbane for everyone. Referees Maggie Cogger-Orr, so from New Zealand, assisted by Natasha Gantley and Chloe Sampson. Then we have TMO Aaron Patterson and foul play reviewer Alec Kelter. And then next we have New Zealand versus USA. This is in Auckland, and this is on the Saturday. And we have Sarah Cox, assisted by Ella Goldsmith, and then Jess Lane. So that little pairing of assistants continues. And then TMO is Rachel Horton, friend of a pod as well. And then foul play reviewer is Estelle. You might need to help me with this last name. Waiapo?
Well, I think it's probably Waiapu. I really should check that.
So yeah, sorry if I mispronounced it. I'm trying to work on my pronunciations of people's names. Maybe, Rob, you want to follow through with any other highlights of appointments, maybe in Super Rugby that we can chat about?
So let's go to Super Rugby appointments. That's a great segue. Nice work. So this weekend, it's the second last round. It's funny. Yeah, it's heating up all over the globe. So the Northern Hemisphere competitions are coming to an end as well. The Erks wrapping up, Champions League, English Premiership, Japan League One. It's all happening up there. We're hitting our straps here as well. So second and last round, 4 matches only this week. So on Friday, 2 on Friday, 2 on Saturday. The 2 Friday games, we've got Crusaders and Highlanders in Christchurch. So that's another derby game, Battle of the South Island. We've got Petrie on that one. I don't know. I reckon that might be a debut. Don't quote me.
There's a few referees, like even in the UK, there was one that popped up and I was like, I don't recognize you.
Yeah.
So they are popping up, getting their little shining first cap.
And that's the
I don't know
sort
what to call it.
Yeah, and that's the sort of game fit for that purpose. So it's a totally understandable appointment. With O'Keefe and Henshaw on the flags and Richard Kelly in the box. So that's the first game on Friday. The second game on Friday, and this is a double header that goes with the Wallaroos test.
Yay!
That's Suncorp. So we've got Reds and Hurricanes. This will be on. So this is in Suncorp. This will determine ladder positions. So really important game. Paul Williams has got that, and that I think that's a great outcome. He had the TARS match last weekend, as a number of the referees said in one of the various chat groups. Well, you can't blame the referee for that loss because he had a cracking game. He was really good. He's on here with Lamette and Winter, and Brett Cronin's the TMO. Then the 2 Saturday games, we've got Chiefs and Moana. Again, another cracking game. That's also pretty much a derby game up the road, down the road. Yeah. That's in the Waikato. And James Dolman's got that. Marcus Plough. Hannon is on the other flag. Richard Kelly doubling up there. And then we go to Perth. So to the western fringes of the competition. And it's the Battle of the Blues. So who's going to wear what? I don't know. It's Western Force against the Waratahs.
Make sure the referees get that little, the little line sheet of what's happening. And at the very back, you're like, what colors are people wearing?
Yes, because I think in the first round in Sydney, the Force wore their gold and black strip, which I actually prefer because it's the colours of WA. I think it looks great. Last thing we needed was another blue team, but they're the Sea of Blue. They're playing at home, so I imagine the TARS will be in their away strip because that's in Perth. And Gussie's got that one with Matty Kay and Coops. And
nice.
Yeah.
At least Coops can be at home.
Yeah, that's right. He can walk to work. Awesome. And Brett Cronin's doubling up there. So the 2 teamers are doubling up this weekend. Brett's got a bit of travel. He's got to get from Brizzy to Perth. So I know what he's doing on Saturday. Richard's only got to get from Christchurch to Hamilton. So that's a slightly smaller hop. That's a good weekend of footy. There's action aplenty there. The Waratahs, Waratahs are still a chance.
By heart or mind?
Well, it's mathematics.
Okay.
But it does rely on a lot of hope, does rely on a lot of other results. And the TARS haven't had a great record in Perth in recent times, and the Force will be somewhat wounded because they got pumped. They were pretty ordinary last week against Drua and La Doca, so they'll be looking to finish with a bang there. Whether or not they will or not, we won't find out because I think that's their last game as well. Yes, it is. So it's their last game of the season for the Force.
Oh, wow. So they want to end it on a high, I would say, if I was a coach and player.
And nothing like upsetting someone else's season as well. particularly when you haven't made the finals yourself. So that'll be a cracker. And then
exciting.
Just one more week to go. And after that, we'll see what happens, see who gets a point and where.
Yeah, exactly. Let's move on to, I think, the final segment bit, which is sort of a mix between like Golden Whistle and the countdown to the World Cup. So it's 100 days, well, less than 100 days now to the Women's World Cup. And it was announced last week about the match officials that were been selected. And I think we want to make our Golden Whistle this week. Drum roll. Is Ella Goldsmith is our Golden Whistle based off the amazing news. Massive congratulations for being selected. Also want to highlight that she's not the only Australian that's going. We obviously have Jess Ling selected as an assistant referee, and then Rachel Horton for TMO. So it's fantastic that we get that representation. Yeah, I can go through the list of who got selected, but I feel like I can highlight that. I highlighted it on our Play On socials as well, but we mention these people's names every week, so I think it's exciting.
It's so exciting. It's so good for all three of them. It's going to be an awesome tournament. It'll be the best one yet.
Yes.
And they've all put the work in, so I'm really pleased with them. And you know, Ella's from our association. I remember when she jumped from playing to refereeing. I'm just so pleased for her, having seen her progress. She was the referee that we reviewed at the mod session.
From the beginning of the pod, what Rob mentioned with the mods. Yeah.
And just seeing her work on the field and off the field, you can see why she's progressed, because she's just owning it big time and putting the effort in and reaping the rewards. So congratulations to all three. Brilliant work. And Ella, whistle well.
Whistle well, exactly.
I reckon that's a great way to end it, Candace, on a high.
On a high, yeah, exactly.
It doesn't get any higher than being appointed to a World Cup. So, yeah, great week.
Yeah, so exciting. Well, thank you all for listening. If you have any suggestions on any topics in particular, we were thinking about adding like quick little pods, so little quick learnings or anything, and could be ranged from 10 or 15 minutes. Let us know if there's something you'd be interested in or what topics you want to know more about. So you can get in contact with us at Play On Pod as well. So yeah, thank you all for listening. Thanks, Rob.
Thanks, Candace. You were once again very good. Piercy was a bit quiet today. I think he needs to work on his vocal range.
Yeah, it was a bit too quiet, wasn't he? I miss his dog as well. I miss seeing his dog on our calls. It's quite cute.
Big contributor.
Just the snoring in the background.
Nothing if not consistent.